Hello everyone. Today we're going to do an overview of the AGNR UME financial dashboard. First, we're going to show you where the dashboard will be located when it's put out and released in production. When you first log in, you're going to see the AGNR department launcher. From there, you'll click on the extension button here at the bottom. When you click that, it'll be listed underneath the dashboards here with an image where you'll click through and bring it up and open it. Once you open up the dashboard, you're going to see four filters at the top. There's a period filter that's defaulted to the current period, which is November fiscal year 22, and it goes all the way back to fiscal period 1, 2018. So we've got a good array of previous years and the current year periods in here where you can cut the dashboard. Most of you will have a default cluster and or county, which will appear based upon your user security. Today, we're actually going to feature the Central Maryland cluster. So if I click on this, it's going to change the counties and give me Frederick, Howard, and Montgomery. I can decide if I want to cut the dashboard by a certain subfund that's available to me here. I'm not going to do that today in this demo. So after I change the filters, I'm going to hit update at the top. It's going to refresh the dashboard, and it's going to give me total funding on the left-hand side, which is really just the revised budget for each one of the subfunds that are listed here totaled up. If I want to look at one, I can see that 28% of my funding in the Central Maryland cluster is actually through state operating. Almost 46% is funded through the budgets by the county and the city. And then I also have over 13%, $266K from capacity funds as well. So if I want, I can now drill into one of the tree map buttons here, and I'll be brought into a trend of the state operating or the selected fund, and it'll show me expenses year to date for prior years all the way through the current year. So the red line that you're seeing here is actually the revised budget, and the gray boxes is the billed expenses year to date up to that revised budget. So if I click back, drill back, I can go up here, click on another fund type. I'm going to click on county, and it'll give me that same chart with the trend, and it'll tell me, is my budget going up? Is it going down, staying flat? And are my expenses staying flat or changing throughout the year? So over on the right-hand side, what we have available is the projected balance current year to date and what the totals are listed here. So as I hover over each one of the different fund types, it's going to give me a total of the amounts that is available under each fund type. If I click through and look at, say, the county and city appropriations, you're going to see that same type of chart that you saw on the left. It's going to show me a trend for the fiscal years, and I'm going to see an average against that. So the black line is an average of all the years, and then the green is the ending projected balance, ending totals for that fiscal year. So you can see this year it's projected at $602,000. And what's the projected balance? Well, the projected balance is really just the current fund balance minus any outstanding encumbrances. And encumbrances are the payroll encumbrances, salaries yet to be paid out, PO encumbrances, and travel encumbrances. So finally, if I drill through here, I'm going to get a list of all the expenditures by the object level in the fiscal year. So I can sort by a certain fiscal year, look at salaries and wages, and see that that's my highest expense throughout the year, followed by contractual services, and then travel. If I so too want, I can drill down into travel and get a list of all the underlying object codes. I can use the expand all button here to actually expand each one, and now I can see it by account. So that gives me the ability to see, okay, where is it coming out of? I can see Frederick is comprising most of the travel expenditure costs for in-state. I can minimize that, can look at business meals, and I can look at conference fees here. All the different subcategories are object code level. So again, if I drill back up, it'll bring me to the chart that was up before that, and then the chart above if I wanted to go back to that level. Okay, bottom here, we have a list of all the funds comprising the Central Maryland cluster in the 3 counties. If I expand this, I can actually get a list of the accounts here. This is state operating. I want to do some investigation into the county funds. If I expand this, I can see that most of my projected balance is actually sitting in Howard County. And I can do that by a quick sort. And I can click through into the account, and now I can get a list of maybe why that's occurring. So if I take a look at my revised budget versus my expenditures year to date, and my encumbrances, and my BBA, and what my current and projected balance is, I can see that the expenses year to date and the encumbrances, along with a current fund balance of $200,000, is what's causing the net projected balance of $373,000. So I could see the actual expenses and encumbrances are only about $110,000, and my budget's $280,000. So that's going to be about $170,000 difference plus the current fund balance of $200,000 gives me the $373,000 in the projected balance. And a very important note here, and you can see this at the bottom of the screen, we've notated how the expenses year to date and expenses PTD, which is project to date, how those are working. So for your state support funds, which are state operating, county, city, and capacity drift, and E&G and agency, those are all going to be year to date because those are all year to date funds. Your project to date funds are all the other subgroups. So if you see a C and G next to it, you can pretty much assume that that's project to date. So I can see under the state and local, I have one account here that's going to be project to date. So you're going to see that the expenses that are listed here, this $12,523.53 is the project to date expense. I can click into the account, same as we did before, and I can take a look at what's comprising these expenses. Looks mostly like it is the salaries and wages, which you'd expect. If I click through, has one last click through and drills into the KFS module application. Once it logs me in, it'll actually bring me right into the ledger details for the period selected at the top, and I can look at the income statement, and I could check to see what the actual project to date expenses are, which is the $12,523 against the dashboard, which matches what I have here at the bottom. So that's how we arrive at the difference between the year to date and project to date. So the general functionality, just to review, is to provide an understanding of what are your funding sources, which is here at the top. Where are your projected balances and what funds are they sitting in? And what are your accounts and where are they grouped? And giving an easy way to get all your state operating, all your county, your capacity funds that you manage, the agency funds, all in a one-stop shop with the ability to drill through and then to do some investigation on the account with a link to the KFS application. I hope you enjoyed this demo, and please contact should you have any questions at dashboards@umd.edu. Thanks.